You're listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 45. On today's episode, Zondy and Nina join the after show to discuss March in SojuTalk music. So sit back and chill with friends. You're listening to the after show with the SojuTalk Nation. Welcome to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, a chill discussion on this month in the SojuTalk Nation. We're recording on Saturday, April 9th, 2022. I'm your host, Crispy, and joining me this month, returning guest for a third time, the very busy, multi-talented pro gamer / full-time engineer, organizer and student. What doesn't he do? The one and only Zondy. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Zondy. How's Smash Brothers? How's
That's good.
beating everyone?
I've been taking a little break because I've been really busy with uni and work and stuff.
Understandable. Well, we also know that you are shoutcasting those events now because you are very in high demand. And the second guest. And the second guest we have is the exquisite, the illustrious, the sultry, extremely attractive, one and only Nina. Welcome to the show.
One of these times we're gonna kill you. So, happy to be here as always. Good morning to Crispy and good evening to Zondy.
Right?
Coming from different time zones.
Yeah, no. Saturday's kind of a nice, perfect spot for us because we can record things in my morning, Nina's afternoon, and Zondy's evening. So we're all generally awake. We're all generally alert and alive. Zondy, I hope that we can give you some energy to get you through the rest of this evening. But I think we'll be, yeah.
We might have to wake Zondy up a couple times. Just shout really loud if he's quiet.
You gotta pat him. It's like, hey, pat Zondy. Yeah, no, we're here for you, Zondy. We're gonna pick up the energy here. So the format for this show is reviewing our top 3 favorite songs of the month of March 2022. We are gonna go one by one. If there are any overlaps, we have some alternates, and we're going in reverse order. These are all songs covered on the SojuTalk main show. You can find that on the SojuTalk YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. They went into great detail this month. We like to do a little review of our thoughts, our feelings, and reactions to what they thought, what they felt, and kind of continue our conversations that we've had online. So thanks to the Discord, we've all had these talks and discussions throughout the month, and now we're just bringing it to life. Bring it to life with these lovely voices, Zondy and Nina. So they have started off the past 2 months. I'm going to start off this month with my number 3 track. I was wrestling with my third selection. I was between 2 songs. I'd already talked about one of these songs earlier this month, but I'm just going to bring it up anyways because I know they're going to talk about the other song I really want to talk about. I'm just going to say it. We've got Oh My Girl with Real Love as my number 3 selection. Oh My Girl's back, and I love them oh so very much. Yua, Arin, have my heart, always and forever. That's where I stand. But the song is very fun. It's very bouncy, very brassy. Not as catchy as Nonstop and Dun Dun Dance. I think that was the first thing that came to mind for me. But very easy listening. Kind of the mature phase of Oh My Girl, going a little bit away from the fairy concept. But we do have kind of a continuation of some of the same visual themes from the previous song. So they're definitely in a big city, and then the other half of the music video, they're outside, they're traveling, they're on vacation. The outfits for me stood out the most, so a lot of visual stimulus. I'm gonna throw it to you first, Nina. How did you feel about this song, this comeback, and kind of the visual stylings of Oh My Girl as they mature into this part of their careers?
Yeah, I'm surprised that you have it. You were thinking about not putting it on your list because you're kind of our resident "Oh My Girl" fan. But I really like this song actually. I've been seeing a lot of negative reactions online. People calling it boring. I mean, I kind of get it. There's not really a high point, I guess, especially if you're expecting like another Dun Dun Dance or another Nonstop, because those were really high energy songs. And also the way that it kind of kicks off with the chorus, like as soon as the song starts, you go right into the chorus. But I like it a lot. I think it's grown on me with every listen, and it's just kind of like a nice, easy little listen. The music video is stunning. Obviously, the girls are stunning. Oh My Girl are a very beautiful group of girls, but it's just visually really nice to look at. And yeah, like I think you're right. The girls are almost all in their mid 20s now, and we've seen them really grow up a lot throughout their career, and it's just I think this song suits them really well, and I'm kind of surprised that a lot of people disliked it so much. But I think it is just people are trying to compare it to Dun Dun Dance and Nonstop. It's a different genre. It's not their upbeat summer track. Maybe they'll give us another one of those. But I like Real Love quite a bit. It was my alternate on my list here. So yeah, no, I like it. It's nice to listen to.
Yeah, it's nice to listen to. It's a bit of a departure from their high energy stuff over the past 2 years. But I think for me, it works really well as far as being, a good switch up. Because I think if you do the same thing too many times in a row, that can become stale and that becomes another criticism. For me, it's a nice switch up. And what they do really well is kind of incorporate the different voices in a much different way than they have in the past. I think Mimi is the standout for me. She's typically seen as the like rapper, but her singing, the bridge with Yua is just beautiful and just really kind of highlights and showcases her as an artist. Zondy, what did you think about? So Nina touched on this a bit with just how beautiful the music video looks. How did you feel about them being in the big city, going on vacation, and why do you love Aaron?
Uh, yeah, no, the music video is really really stunning. That was the first thing, the thing that really stood out to me the first time I listened is this kind of theme of they're traveling, got a whole airplane to themselves, or they're in the city, or they're performing on some kind of stage, or all like each scene is stunning in its own way, and it kind of I think the members do kind of cross over in their scenes, but most of them are just individually shot. Uh, and I think in some ways that kind of lends to the um, I don't know, almost melancholy chord progression and just melody of the song. But I don't know. I think it's beautiful, and it's kind of like, despite being kind of melancholy, like I said, it also feels really triumphant in a way. And they all just look like really, really happy and cute, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ina.
Oh, I want to say, one point, Mimi was definitely the standout of this one for me as well, in the music video and in the song. And what Zondi mentioned too about it sounding like a little melancholy, I think that, yeah, that's a good point that I hadn't really thought about, but it's kind of like, what's the, don't know the word I'm looking for here, but like these are, they're, seasoned veterans now, and I think they all re-signed their contracts, or most of them. And yeah, it feels like a celebration, like maybe a little bit, I don't know, there's some kind of feeling to it, a little bit nostalgic. I don't know. I mean, I can't find the words to describe the feeling I'm looking for, but yeah, that's a good point. It's a bit of like a melancholy, but uplifting at the same time.
Yeah, it's like it's bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
It's really
I get what you're saying, yeah.
triumphant. It's like it feels like a celebration, especially with like just like fireworks, and they're all in like what looks like heaven. I don't know. It's just a bunch of hot air balloons and runways.
I mean, they
And
are angels, so.
True.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's their strongest song. I really do like it though. I think
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't match up to some of the stuff they've done in the past, but it was one of my alternates as well. I think I really At first I didn't really like the super wet, thick synth that like is in the chorus, like that really big pad. I didn't like it at first, but the more I listened to it, like Nina said, it has grown on me.
Yeah, no, it's one of those songs that does catch you a little off guard because it is so different. But for me, it's a song of maturation, kind of a turning of the page, right? At least as far as them going into their mid-20s. I think they're about their 7-year mark now, so they're going into 7 years next year. So again, that's a very important time frame for a lot of groups, and it does feel like they have a lot of momentum moving forward. So. Yeah, again, a great celebration, a great just musical coming together for the group, and I'm just excited that they seem like they're on a good trajectory to have more music because I adore them so very much. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, Zondy or Nina, on just the song and the way that it really hits you, and your feelings about it? Because I know like we've said a lot of the same things, but I don't know, there's just something about Oh My Girl that it just. And it plays into this idea of K-pop being about characters, right? Where I can just really relate to them in a number of ways, whether it's wanting to be friends with them or more, or, just spending time with them. It's just one of those things where I have a very irrational, I guess it's irrational connection with them for some reason.
Parasocial.
Thank you. I don't have delusions. Thanks.
I was going to say delusional at first, but let's say parasocial.
You know what? Well, I am comfortable with the things that I'm comfortable with. No, but yeah. Oh My Girl, they're great. Any closing thoughts for either of you?
Yeah. Oh My Girl, great girls, beautiful girls, nice song.
Yeah.
Good listen.
Yeah. I mean, I like Oh My Girl a lot.
There's some good B-sides on the album as well.
There are.
Yeah.
What was the one that I liked?
Which one was it? Parachute?
It was Replay and Parachute.
Yeah, Replay and Parachute. Yeah, very good.
That kind of 2-hit.
Yep.
1-2 punch.
Zondy, we are friends. We have to be, because Parachute is my second favorite song on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a run of like
album.
Parachute, Replay, Eden, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Eden, Replay, Parachute.
That's a good run.
Eden was a nice throwback to older fairy concept type.
Mm-hmm. I love the fairy concept. Yeah, I'm missing the fairy concept a bit, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough of that in K-pop right now.
We only really got 3 Oh My Girl fairy concept songs, and they're all their best songs for me. So
very true. I spent some time in Korea in 2015, and they were promoting Closer at the time, so I got to see them do that live a couple times. Man,
the Closer's so good for that.
Oh, Closer's so good. Yeah, that's a good song. Probably my favorite Oh My Girl song, actually.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
I was doing the choreo for all
Tangent.
the audio only listeners. I was doing the choreo. Let's move on to Nina's number 3 track of the month. Nina, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are going to know this one that well, actually, but I do want to talk about it. And it is Bad News by the rookie boy group Tempest, who just debuted.
Nina, you said, I told you. That's my number 3 too. I told you. You didn't believe me.
That's my guy. Yeah, Tempest, Bad News. So I have been known to be a bit of a rookie boy group music hater from time to time.
No.
There's, I think we all know that there's sort of a concept that a lot of rookie boy groups are going for at the moment. And it's not to say they're all bad songs, but there is a certain style that we're seeing a lot with rookie boy groups. And it's like a dark, edgy lyrics about like rebellion, and they're all in black outfits, and it's like a really hip-hop heavy beat, like maybe noise music. And that's fine, and I like some of them, but it's not my favorite K-pop. Bad News by Tempest is what I like to see from boy groups. It's just like, it's a fresh, fun, a little bit funky, very upbeat. The music video is colorful. They're having a good time. And I was so happy to hear this. I've seen a couple people online say that Tempest reminds them of Rookie 17, which I don't know if maybe a little bit. I was thinking more Her by Block B. Like Block B's more upbeat and fun stuff. That's what it reminds me of. But if it is reminding people of 17, that makes sense why I like it so much. I thought it was an amazing debut. I've watched some of the live stages. They're all great performers. There's a couple of kids that have been on Produce, one from Island, so they have some experience, and they're a little bit. I think they're all 20 plus. Actually, I think the youngest member was born in 2002, so that's kind of nice to see as well. I'm not a huge fan of like junior high kids debuting, but yeah, the song is it's just really fun to listen to. It's I just love to see people having fun. And it's got like some really nice the rapping I thought was pretty good for K-pop rapping. And I like the song a lot.
Yeah, shout out to older members debuting, not junior high kids, and shout out to Hunbin, Vietnamese kids from Island,
Hunbin.
definitely our representative, Koala, your cousin. Hello, tell him hi for us.
I think is he the first Vietnamese K-pop idol? Maybe.
I think so. I can't recall anyone else.
There might be, but that's. And I mean,
go ahead.
K-pop's huge in Vietnam.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that's not made a bigger deal of, that he's Vietnamese and he's just like, this group is good. I actually like the song a lot. I like that it's very off meta. I like colors, I like brightness, I like age appropriateness of like who these like members are, right? And like learning who they are, as opposed to being stuck in this dark concept that unfortunately there are a lot of groups that are doing it, which for better or worse, that's just K-pop. But then you don't really learn about the members through their performance because of the fact that they're stuck in a concept that everyone else is doing. With this, I got a good sense of them, right? Like I don't need to know like the all the details about who they are, but I can kind of pinpoint like who's the fun one, who's a little bit more serious, who's a good dancer, and those elements of what K-pop and music are highlighted far better for me in this song than I think in any other debut, whether it's a boy group or a girl group, because I did like the song. I covered the song this month. It was kind of crazy. I covered a boy group song once.
Yeah, crazy.
Zondy, you have this as number 3. Are you and Nina just the same person essentially, and why do you love it?
To answer the first question, yes. To answer the second question, I mean, I listened to it pretty late on in the month. I was just trying to catch up on stuff that came out in March because I've been lazy. But I watched the music video and I was like, "Whoa, this is fun." There's a lot of colors, and it reminded me of a couple things. It did remind me of 17's early stuff in terms of energy, not necessarily in terms of the sound. I don't think it sounded too much a lot like early 17. But in terms of the kind of concept and energy, I thought there were the only only good things. Early 17 is my favorite 17, etc., etc. It also reminded me of the finale song from Produce 101 Season 2.
Oh, Super Hot?
Yeah.
I love that song.
It gave me big Super Hot vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and also just like, I don't know, I thought it was good. It's a bright concept, of course, and not in a super like saccharine, super sweet, got 7 just right kind of early Astro. It's different from that in a way.
It's not cavity inducing sweetness. It's just the right like candy.
Yeah,
great metaphor. At
least that's how I feel about it.
Actually,
go ahead.
Sorry, talking about like their energy. That's the reason I became a 17 fan was because I saw their debut stage and I was like, these guys are having fun on stage. Like they love performing, and you kind of get like these guys. They the energy. They feel like they're having a good time, and that's always fun to watch.
So Nina,
you
my
know?
question for you is with K-pop boy groups specifically, because I don't watch them or consume very much of their content. What is it about a group, whether they're characterized or their stage performance, that differentiates another group with their energy and your ability to connect with them? So specifically with Tempest, for me, I connected with this. It was like I know who they are right away. With a lot of other boy groups, I'm not going to name anyone. There was a group that came out this past week who is named after a show. I have no idea what they're about aside from being in the Joseon era. Is there any delineating line for you as to how you connect with the group on debut? Some solo group like Tempest and how they're presented.
Yeah, definitely. And I think part of it is as I'm getting older, it's harder to connect with rookie groups sometimes because they're not made for me. They're these a lot of them they're marketed at teenagers, and I'm not a teenager. Yeah, sometimes I feel like one, but I'm not. So they do
But
kind
you
of
look
blend
like one.
together. Once again, Crispy has no idea what I look like. Yeah, they kind of blend together, and there's like the joke about the names with the numbers, like we got BAE 173 and then T1419. They all kind of, it's hard to tell them apart if you're not already a fan or if you're not connected to one of the members. They kind of blend together. So even just doing a slightly different concept is really nice to see, but it's also just a very different. A lot of them are just trying to act tough and cool all the time, which again doesn't really land for me when they're like 16 and I'm more than a decade older than them. So it's these guys. I guess that just stands out that they're doing something different, and there is that sense. You know what I think is actually a really good idea for a debut group is dyeing your members' hairs different colors.
That's the play, honestly.
That's the play, actually.
Honestly. Boy groups and girl groups, honestly.
Yeah, no matter what, no matter who you are, for that first debut, give them different hair colors.
Or at least different hair lengths, you know. You
Yeah,
have
some
the one
kind
with the
of
bangs, the one with the short hair.
Yeah. Then I'll actually maybe learn them because that's what I always said with Produce actually. Like Kang Daniel, he had pink hair at the beginning. That was
cheating.
the play. Yeah, like that's cheating. You know, I watched the performance and I was like, oh, pink hair, and then he came in first.
Yeah,
Imagine
same
that.
with Richie from in Girls
Yes.
Planet. Like having
Yeah.
blue hair is cheating.
It's cheating, yeah. But I don't know why more people don't do it. They're just playing smarter, you know.
Yeah, Zondy brought up Surichi and now we're derailed. So I can't
Yeah,
think.
let's
No, you are fine. Zondy is fine. I am not, clearly. Anyways, Zondy, what is your pick for song number 3 for March?
Well, it was bad news. So instead, I'm gonna talk about my my alternate, which is a song that I think might appear in one of your lists later on, and that's "Maniac" by Stray Kids.
That's my number 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good song. I don't know. I don't have too much to say about it. It's Stray Kids. It's what they do, and they do it well. It's just high energy, super animated dancing, and the music video. It's I don't know. It's Stray Kids. They're good, you know.
What did you think about the effects that they use in the song? Because Stray Kids is very theatrical. They're very they make you feel what they're trying to portray in the music video and the song, right? I could have said that better, but essentially, like the screw driving effect, the glass shattering effect, they have a lot of sound effects that are very like visceral, that are very like real world. How do you feel like they incorporated that in this song, in Maniac specifically, that it feels a little bit different and better than they have in the past? Because I think the reception of the past couple of releases have been a bit mixed. Maniac for me is kind of a return to form with Stray Kids with the addition of all the new new abilities that you get along the quest of being an idol throughout the years. How do you feel like that their music has come together at this point?
I feel like as far as the effects and how, they play into the song. The the reason it works better here for me, at least, is because it just it makes a lot more sense in context of the rest of the production. The the main driving thing in the song is the kind of thumpy bass line, and it is kind of it when you listen to it, it's placed in a specific part of your soundscape, in a way that it almost feels like it's sound engineering and not music production, and the Foley effects kind of play towards that in a way where it kind of sounds like you're I don't know, you're watching some kind of 3-minute Foley tutorial or something. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's Stray Kids. They're very campy. You don't have to, I don't know. I don't take them too seriously. I don't think they do either.
That's a good way to put it. They're very campy, but it's believable and it works with who they are. Because I think there's a lot of campy groups that just like, oh, it's just not it. And I think Christmas, the Evil song was a nice example of like, yeah, they're just Stray Kids being Stray Kids. But
oh, that was too far.
A little too far.
That one was a bit too much for me, yeah.
But I guess this one is a little bit more of a return to form. Nina, what did you think about this song, and kind of what were your favorite parts of the song and your favorite member moments? I was gonna say like 10 things at the same time, and I landed on that one. But yes, tell me what you thought about the song.
I know Stray Kids are divisive, right? Like you either like what Stray Kids are doing or you don't. And that's fine, to each their own. They've been, they don't always hit for me. I wasn't a huge fan of Thunderous. I don't listen to it very much. But like, I love God's Menu. I love Backdoor. They're, we're talking about boy groups doing like dark and heavy concepts. And I think Stray Kids has their own style that is just Stray Kids. They have their own brand. And I think a big what am I trying to say? Stray Kids stand out to me. And maybe a part of it is that they do produce a lot of their own stuff, which is always good to see. And sorry, I'm totally losing my train of thought. Okay, I'm gonna go in a different direction. The standout point of this song, and the standout point of a lot of Stray Kids songs, that's like a big part of Stray Kids' brand, is Felix. Obviously, I think like Felix is the image. Like he's just, when you hear his voice, you're like, this is a Stray Kids song. Yeah. The song overall is really good, but I think the chorus is what really makes it for me. The bass and Felix with a deep voice, the choreography they do, and the camera effects in the music video where they're kind of tilting in time with it. Like when I first experienced that, I was like, oh, this is good. This is Stray Kids, and this is good. Yeah, they're a little bit campy and theatrical and performance-based, I would say. And they don't always hit, but when they do, it's real good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the performances definitely are the strength of them, and Felix is the focal point, right? I think you hear his voice, it's Stray Kids. I think for me, well, let's take it back to Queendom, right? So Queendom, the show, was a really nice way to put Stray Kids in the comparison line with a lot of other boy groups, right? And you were able to really see the differentiators between Stray Kids and everyone else. Not to say that those other groups are less good than Stray Kids or less unique than Stray Kids, but I think it was very clear that you have a very hip-hop base with Stray Kids, and you understand that this is the character of the group, this is who they are, and this is ultimately them putting together their music on their own. So, I mean, I think it's just, it works really well. And I don't know, man, I listened to this entire album, and I think there's a really good line for how they sound like and what they're trying to portray. So, yeah.
I liked the album quite a bit.
Yeah.
Venom, the B-side, is also really cool. They do some cool stuff in that one.
Venom is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been years.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts for you, Zondy?
No.
All right, well, we're gonna flip it back to me. No worries.
He's like, we've talked about boy groups enough.
It's like, I need to talk about.
Let's move it on. Come on,
girl group, please. All right, back to me. My number 2 track of the month. This one, I'll just drop it. Well, I have a longer conversation coming up with this. I think by the time this episode drops, it will have dropped. So I can probably say it. I do an entire episode, kind of a retrospective on this group. Big Bang, Still Life, my number 2 song of the month. I actually bring on a friend. Her name is Michelle. She is a longtime VIP since like 2004. Hey Nina, remember when 2004 happened? How old were we? We were like 20, right? No, I think let me start with what the song is, right? So it's very much a retrospection, a reflection on who Big Bang are at this point in their lives. 20 years of being in the industry, doing music, a lot of ups and downs, either personally or musically, a lot of different styles, I would say. But this style specifically is a ballad, maybe not a ballad, slow rock, soft rock, something that I'm used to with Big Bang because I've just listened to some of their songs that are very similar to it. And honestly, I love it in the sense that there's a lot of depth to the song, right? I think it's not a very traditional K-pop song, but because it's Big Bang, it's recognizable as something that's in K-pop, right? Symbolism, all these amazing elements, and just who Big Bang are represented in full in this song. And I don't know, it just, to me, I think it fills the nostalgia void of, okay, I remember what it was like to be at these different points in my life, whether I was listening to Big Bang or not. And I think that elevated it to the point where it became just one of my favorite songs, and also just what it represents, right? Let me throw it to Zondy. Zondy,
yo,
what'd you think about this song? And kind of the longer discussion that they had on the main show this month.
I'll be honest, I haven't listened to the show this month, so I can't answer that question. But what I can say is, this ruined my prediction. I had predictions for what both of your charts were gonna be, and I think I know Nina's is gonna be correct. But I thought you had J Park at number 2. This song, I don't know. I listened to it a couple times. I am not the biggest Big Bang fan. I've in the past I've liked a couple of their songs, but yeah, I feel like this one, if you were not there as a VIP throughout, like most of them, most of their career trajectory through, as you say, all of the many ups and downs that this group has had, then it won't quite have the emotional impact that it clearly is trying to give you. I mean, I think the lyrics are cute. I think the production is kind of standard for a Big Bang ballad. But it's a nice song. But if you're not a VIP, it's not really for you, I don't think. And I'm not, so it's not. So
yeah, no, completely fair. And I understand that it's one of those songs where you have to have a bit of a history with the group. Just like a lot of other groups, right? Where they release a song like this, it feels like it's the end of the road. It's a celebration in a lot of ways. Nina, what did you think about this song potentially being the end of the road for Big Bang?
Yeah, I actually was a Big Bang fan in the 2007 to 2009.
So you were 30. Got it.
Yeah, when I was 30.
Yeah, back when I was 2.
Yeah. Before Zondy was born. Yeah, Lies and How and Last Farewell. I love those songs. I've kind of fallen off the Big Bang train over the years. The highlight of this song is definitely the lyrics. Like when you listen to it without, if you don't understand Korean or you haven't read the translation, it doesn't have the same impact. But then when you read the lyrics, they're definitely the driving point. I generally like this style of thing. I love a sentimental spring song. I didn't really emotionally connect with this one. I don't know. Maybe it's just because my opinion on Big Bang has been a bit soured over the years, unfortunately. But they've definitely, they're legends in the K-pop world. They actually, Big Bang were the first group to release a mini album. They started the mini album. Fun fact.
Big Bang
And a
created
lot
the
of
extended play.
yes, yeah. Well, they invented calling it a mini album, and they definitely started that trend in K-pop because before that, everyone was just releasing full albums, and now we get 3 comebacks a year because they release EPs. Yeah, K-pop would be different without Big Bang. Like that's just a fact. If you read any rookie boy group and you ask them, who their influences were, and it's still Big Bang. They still say Big Bang to this day. And yeah, that's undeniable. But it makes sense as an ending to me, with everything they've been through. Especially T.O.P. has been through some tough times, so I can see why they want to close this book, and open a new one.
We're so
what
good with
metaphor am I
today.
making
We're
here?
all
Yeah,
the
I am.
metaphors.
God, yeah, you can just cut out everything I'm saying.
No, we're leaving it all in. No, I appreciate the perspective of folks who don't have the same emotional connection or have lost the emotional connection, right? Because I think that's still a very important aspect of K-pop, right? It's how do you reintroduce yourself and let people know that you're relevant, that you're still around, but also kind of say like, well, we're in a transitional point in our careers, in our lives. And how do you tell that story in an accessible way? I think for the most part, they did that. Even if you don't have the same connection, you still understood what they were going for, right? And I think ultimately that is a big part of Big Bang, who they are, while also not, I don't know, not calling too much attention to a lot of the specifics of the past, right? Because ultimately it's a celebration. You don't need to or have to talk about certain things. Certain things I'm sure are the reason why you've soured on them. So yeah, no, I again, very storied, very up and down past in history with Big Bang. Again, they're not perfect people, but I think that is kind of unique in K-pop where they are saying all of our flaws, all of our blemishes are out in the open. Everyone knows about them. And one way or another, they're going to inform the way our music is received and represented, right? So I don't know. I think it's ultimately it hits me in the feels because this is all where I came from. I think
you can still relate to it even if you're not a Big Bang fan. Like looking back on your past, saying, "I've made mistakes. I've had good times. I've had bad times. This is who I am now, and we're gonna move forward." I guess.
Yeah, I think like regardless of how you feel about the group, the lyrics are kind of poignant for everyone, right? I don't think there's anyone in the world who can't really relate in some way.
Yeah, nice. Well said, everyone. Yeah, the one main theme that I kind of pulled from it is this idea of impermanence. How life continues to move, the arrow of time points forward, and just like spring, summer, winter, fall, winter, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's a lot of cyclical nature for Big Bang, but also K-pop, right? And people in general and cycles of life. So, beautiful song. I know it's a surprise at number 2. I still love IU and J Park and Granadada. Shout out to IU and GD. That's all I'll say there.
Man, Palette's a good song.
Palette's so good.
Palette is amazing. I freaking love that song. I still go back to that song just to kind of like relive what it.
I mean, I always go back to that album like every day, maybe every other day.
I believe it. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Hi, Zondy. Nina, what is your track number 2 for this month?
Yeah, so my number 2 was Maniac. So we've talked about my 2, my 3, and my alternate. So do you want to talk about J Park and IU?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because I mean, I like this song as well. Jay Park is another guy who has certainly had some ups and downs. For sure. But it's a fun track, and it's the kind of thing that you just know when you hear it. You're like, Korea is gonna eat this up. Fun, cute music video is cute. IU's voice is the perfect touch to it, and yeah, I like it.
Zondy, why do we love IU so much?
Yeah, let's talk about
I
that.
think she's a visionary. I just think she's so fucking good. I don't know.
There's no one
Sure.
like IU.
Do I take this Ganadar discussion and just talk about IU for 30 minutes?
Yes.
I mean, I don't have much to say about Jay Park, so we may as well talk about IU.
Yes. I was leading you into it. Go.
I don't know. I think IU is one of those artists who's had a progression. Her career trajectory has been so well defined, and her albums, as she's aged, obviously it's kind of like Adele. You know how Adele has her silly little album titles are her age thingy.
Mhm.
Well, IU's kind of just done the same thing, and it's like in a slightly more subtle way, in a not very subtle way, but slightly more subtle. Where in Palette she sings she's 25, and H the song's called 8, and she's 28. It's not very subtle, but it's just a really. I mean, 23 is a song about her being 23.
Shout out to Arin for covering that song on her 23rd birthday. Hello, hi, oh my girl. There you go.
Shout outs to Oh My Girl for covering the Lolorma.
Her name.
Her Instagram name. It's just a really, I think her albums, and especially in the title tracks, is where she kind of describes what it's like to be this age for IU, kind of transitioning from her early on really cutesy image, the kind of Disney princess stuff, just a little bit further into her career with Good Day and You and I, and then moving on towards a more R&B influenced, slightly more mature vibe as with Palette and Lilac later on. With 23, I think Cha-Cha is really the turning point for that, where she sings in the song about, am I gonna be cute or am I gonna be sexy, and every single album is just so chock full of bangers, and I just love it. I don't know, I love IU. I think her voice is incredible. I wasn't so keen on it at first. Like a couple years ago, I was like, I don't see what the hype is about IU's voice. But then I hear her sing, and I'm like, I see what the hype is. Like, I was like, she has a very unique tone, but other than that, there was just nothing too distinguishable about her voice. But I think she has incredible vocal control and just a bunch of other things that make her an amazing singer.
This penetrates your soul.
I'm a bit parasocial with IU. I got into K-pop in 2007. She debuted in 2008, and we're similar in age. I didn't
know IU was 60. Crazy.
Yeah, IU is actually 65 years old. It's crazy.
Nice.
You wouldn't believe it looking at her, but
you look great too.
So just the progression of her career is so perfect. She every era is so well defined, and you can really see her growing from kind of when she was doing her cute thing with My Boo and Marshmallow, and that was kind of like being pushed by the company, and then as she grew and started writing her own songs and came into her own image and started having more control over her career like that, and just there's no one more deserving of all the success that she's seen than IU.
Yeah, no, well put. I like the point that you made, Zondy, about different songs paralleling points in her life, similar to Adele, kind of in celebration of what those transitional periods mean. I think in a funny way, Ganadara is a nice, how should I put this? A nice touch point for how adults try to date. right? Or Jay Park and IU. They're not dating per se in this music video, but there's an awkward exchange of misinformation and awkward exchange of like, oh, do you want to meet up? But like, can you meet up? Oh, are you busy? I'm kind of busy, but we're still going to do this. And we're going to, excuse me, shoot this music video. And hopefully you're going to be here. I feel like there's so much parallel to the song itself, where the song is, talking about the elementary nature of love, right? Kind of data being the first 4 letters of the Korean alphabet. But then with IU, it's like, how do I approach this person? How do I bring this person into my life? Kind of the first initial days of like dating. And it's a very modern depiction of what it means to be in your 30s, or in my case, 70s, trying to date someone, because it's just never going to be the perfect idealized vision that we all had when we were children, that we saw in Disney movies and K-dramas. I think it's just a lot of fun, and they play into it so much. What do you guys think about this genre for IU? It's the R&B, hip-hop R&B, like melodic type of music, kind of similar to Dean, similar to her stuff with I can't remember the other collaborations she did. I have a playlist. But then I think Dean, Zico, and Crush are very similar to Jay Park in this realm. Do you want IU to do more? Do you want her to just flip into R&B as far as being a musician? And is that something that I don't know? Do you just want more of it?
I think it suits her well. I think it works better for her where she's a featuring artist. And her voice kind of complements, especially like when she's with male R&B singers, and then her voice is so sweet. I always love that combination. I don't know if I would want like a full album of R&B from her. I mean, it suits her. I'm sure she would crush it. But I do really love when she's a featuring artist. It's always such a nice, sweet little a touch to a song.
A touch to a song. Beautiful. Zondy, any closing thoughts on IU and Kanadata?
Yeah, we haven't talked about the music video, and the only thing I really want to say is that she looks incredible.
Like that scene when she turns around in slow motion.
Yeah, you can hear the.
Yeah.
There's a part of me when that happens where it's like, this is not real. This is a dream. Like, I am in Jay Park's perspective, thinking, oh, it's not really her. She could never just appear and just turn around and be angelic the way she is, and yet she does.
She does kind of look like, I feel like maybe it's just part of the concept, like she doesn't want to be there. She's like, can we get this done so I can
She totally does. It's like
yeah. She's like, okay, wrap it up, Jay.
All right, so I just thought of this may or may not have happened to me in the past, but I'm just going to bring it up to see if maybe one of you have had these experiences. Have you ever gone on a first date and the person's not a bad person, but you're just not vibing with them, and they're a little awkward, and
and
you're just sitting there like, when is this going to end?
Yes.
Like you haven't done anything wrong, but I'm not.
It's like,
this.
What is the respectful amount of time that I have to sit here before I can leave?
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Oh man, not to say that I've ever been the recipient of that, but I understand.
If IU like gave me that vibe, I would probably just die, I think.
Yeah.
I would just die. I wouldn't know what to do because I don't want the moment to end ever. I would just hold on to it. This would probably be my only chance to sit. Okay, now we're just like fantasizing about like being in front of IU.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up? We could talk all day.
With all that being said,
like IU.
Jay Park, great R&B song, fits his tone.
Yeah, that was good.
Fits his style. IU, amazing compliment. Nice little touch, just like you said. All right, we're on Zondy now. Zondy, what is your? Are we on track 2? Track
number 2.
Track number 2. What is your track number 2?
I cheated. I played a song from April. It's Glitch by NB. Yeah, I mean, I really like the song. When I listened to it for the first time, I was like,
I think
wow.
I was just gonna say I think Still Life was also April, so you're fine.
Yeah, that's true. It
Yeah.
was. It was actually later on in April. So, uh, no, yeah. When I listened to it for the first time, I was like, damn, why wasn't this her debut? Like, I was like, I don't know. I was a lot more instantly enamored with it than I was with Door. I think, short hair NB first of all. Secondly, uh, she took the visual comparisons that people had made with her a long time ago to Irene and was like, what was that song that Irene did in 2020, 2021, 2020? Naughty?
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and this like the choreo, not necessarily a song, in some ways a song, but the choreo reminded me a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of tutting. Crispy can speak to that later on. You're our resident dancer man.
I am
Mm-hmm.
not the dancer man. There are many main dancers on
Crispy
the
main
set.
dancer.
It's it's like this future bass synth heavy fun song. I don't know. I really liked it.
I was wrestling with this one as well. So I really liked it, like a lot. I think just like you, Door, nice visual introduction to Eunbi as a soloist, because I feel like if you this is not like a super harsh criticism, but if you took the song out of it and you just watched the music video like a silent film, beautiful. It's like, oh, I know her character. I know what they're going for. Kind of this somewhat retro Roaring 20s flapper vibe. But then with this song, music video, the song is very modern, up to date, something that, yes, this is K-pop now. But I think stylistically, she still has a lot of those elements that I think they want to thread into her as her character moving forward. So with the feathery dress, it's like, oh, that's Eunbi. I see it. With the song, I really like it. I would have put this in my top 3 if there weren't any other songs. I think like you said, the effects are really cool with kind of the glitchy video game tech pop is how I categorized it, kind of the way it opened.
Yeah, it's like kawaii bass.
Yeah. But I am a sucker for deep house and kind of groovy music. So this is all up in my grill, all up in my like who I want to be kind of thing. And she does a really nice job of being the centerpiece. And let's speak to the choreo a little bit. So I feel like the choreo in this case is a really good example of less is more, where she's very much the center. There's very much allusions to glitchy type movements. The tutting is amazing. The tutting is very simple. But I think there can be a situation where there's too much choreo and then you lose track of what's happening in the music video and the song. This is a case where it's just enough, where it's not too complex. You can follow along. You see her the entire time. And again, this builds into the character of who Eunbi is, and me as not a big IZ*ONE fan, but getting to know her as an artist. And honestly, I love the way that it's all companioned, put together as a companion. Nina, what'd you think about Eunbi, being in her mid-20s and, being in the Matrix, essentially?
I love Glitch. I think this is the perfect style for her. I always thought that, like, out of the IZ*ONE girls, she was one of the ones that was best suited to be a soloist. She's a great singer, great dancer, great presence. But Door was a bit of a miss for me. I didn't think it was bad, but I don't listen to it. I don't know. I found it a bit forgettable for me personally. But this is really good. Yeah, I thought it suited her really well. Yeah, it is. This one's for the gay club. Yeah, no, I thought she crushed this. She looks so good in the music video. The choreo suits it really well, and I think Warren compared it to Four Walls by FX, the like future bass kind of.
You mean the best song ever written?
Yes, the best song ever written, Four Walls by FX. So yeah, it's really good. Eunbi killed it.
Yeah, this was a surprise for me, I would say. I didn't think that they were going into a deep house, techno house style for her. And she just fits it so well. And because there is a little bit of the, I don't know, residue of like her old like original concept, it works for some reasons. Like I see the feathery dress and it's like, oh, the retro look still works here. I don't know. My brain is just like cyberpunk, some things, all those things. With all that being said, I love the house sound. I love her kind of being in the centerpiece of it. Runway house, deep house, gay club house. Let's go. All of it. I love it all.
I also want to say that come and go like a glitch makes perfect sense. She's saying she kind of appears out of nowhere and like messes up your life. And then she goes.
It's like Herobrine.
Like a glitch. Yeah. You know, a glitch just kind of like comes out of nowhere and ruins your recording.
Yeah. Things like that. Very, very real life things that go ahead.
Well, while we're on that, I know she says in the chorus, "I'm that glitch," but when she at the end of the chorus, she always goes, "I'm that."
Yeah.
And I'm always like, "Please say bitch. Please say bitch."
She's that bitch. Let her say bitch.
And it's not like, I mean, they're clearly, I mean, it's like it's obvious, right? She is.
It's like Red by Hyuna when she's Hyuna is
These missed opportunities in K-pop. Come on. We gotta move past it. Come on, K-pop producers and lyricists. You gotta let these people breathe.
It's kind of fun though.
It's just be YG who can swear.
Apparently. But yeah, no, two parts of it, right? So one part, it's like we do want her to just say "I'm that bitch," but the other part is it's the mystery, it's the filling in with your imagination part.
It's geeky.
It's it's our brains want to fill in the next word, and she said "I'm that glitch," and you still don't think it's gonna be glitch,
but you want it to be something else. You want it so much. Nice. No, this is very much a surprise for me. I very much love the song. I think I'm at that point. I think I've listened to it enough where it's like, yeah, I kind of love this song. We'll see where it ends up for me in my end of the year rankings, but it's very much a unique song in that sense. Yeah, shout out to Eunbi. All right, we're making it back to the top of the list. My last song, Crispy's last song for March 2022, my number one song of the month. I feel like we're gonna have the same song.
Nah.
I feel like me and Crispy. I feel like Zondy's got something else for us.
Yeah, I've dug into the trenches and I've brought out G Idol.
Wow. Surprise. Let's all right, let me do mine and then we'll get to the rest. I got this. All right. Wow, hosting is easy. Red Velvet, Feel My Rhythm, my number one song. I know Zondy was doing a bit. It's just my brain is like short circuiting. My brain was glitching.
No, my number one song was actually Vampara by Weekly.
Oh dear.
What a surprise. What an upset. Zondy, we're just going to stop the show. We're no longer talking about Red Velvet. Why is Vampara the song of the year?
It's not. Feel My Rhythm is actually my song of the year so far.
Yeah. They were like, when I was making my list, number one was like the easy, that's it. Like everything else I had to really think about, but clear number one.
100%.
Red Velvet.
Yeah.
100%.
It's easily my song of the year so far, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's set it up a little bit. So they do go into a bit of a dark concept, a horror concept that Red Velvet does, but then flips it with a very nice blend of Red and Velvet, right? I think as they progress as artists, as a group, I no longer feel like there's going to be a clear Red or Velvet concept, but honestly, it works because here you do have a lot of the classical strings, a lot of flourishes, great vocals by Wendy and Silgi, but still a lot of very groovy, cool moments in the song. Zondy, why is Vampara just okay versus this song?
So Vampara, what it does wrong is it takes what worked for Weekly and it did a 180 on it. And Red Velvet took what worked for Red Velvet and they played on it in a nice way, I think. It, like you said, it does in some ways kind of extend from the horror concept they've been doing, but it's really just this kind of elegant swans, like the art, a lot of references to high art. I don't know who the artist in the the last scene
Mm.
who painted the fancy weird like thingy is, but I can talk a bit more about JS Bach if you want me to.
Bach Opa.
Bach Opa. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's something we have to talk about, right? Aaron, the G string. I am so hesitant to like anything that samples classical music because most of the time, or interpolates classical music, because most of the time it's done so poorly.
Mm.
It's just so tastelessly. Maybe I'm being a bit cringe and elitist or whatever, but it's the way Red Velvet have done it is so faithful to the original piece. It's not just in the intro and the chorus where they sample air on a G string. It's also in other parts of the song. In the pre-chorus, they also have kind of the strings kind of outlining the chord progression from air on a G string. It's so hard to keep saying G string.
For no reason.
Yeah, no reason at all. It's they've taken it and they put this kind of super percussive beat on in the verses over it, and yeah, I think it works really well and kind of contrasting what this super hyper modern Red Velvet SM sound has given us in the verses into the really elegant string heavy, leaning into the really luscious instrumentation from the performance that they sample. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think it's really well done, and it's I wasn't so hot on it at first. I was like, this is fine, I think. And then I listened to it again. I was like, this is amazing.
There's a lot to
so
unpack with the song, right? I think on initial listen, it's just like one, Red Velvet's back. Amazing. Thank you. And then it's like, okay, I have to really mentally process. I love everything you said about your description of how the strings were incorporated in the song. I kind of want to take it back to what you said about classical music being used in music, in popular music, right? I think oftentimes it's used as like, oh, this is the song, and we're just gonna rap or sing on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where
it's always like hey, this Tchaikovsky piece, right? You've heard this before, and it doesn't ever try and do anything outside of that in a transformative way.
Yeah, Nina, what do you think about Red Velvet? Taking the sample, the Bach sample, and having it be, pardon the pun, a thread throughout the entire song. Because it is very much an underlying element of the song, kind of the backbone of the song, without being an exaggeration of the original piece.
Yeah, I the first time I listened to it, I liked it, but I wasn't like obsessed with it immediately. But it's really stuck in my head, and I just wanted to listen to it over and over and over again, and it's like it grows on me every time. It's I think at first my first thought was that it was a bit busy through the chorus with the trap beat and the classical sample, but I don't know, I got over it. Now I think it's great.
I'm with you. I thought it was a bit busy.
Yeah.
No, continue.
Yeah, that it's like maybe it's like the first experience, you're like, whoa, there's a lot of things happening right now, and you're just trying to like process all of it. But the more you listen to it, the more it just you learn to appreciate like the little parts of it. Wendy and Solgi's vocals are, the distinguishing point of Red Velvet. Their vocals are amazing, and most groups couldn't have pulled this off. If it wasn't Red Velvet, it wouldn't have worked, and that's true for a lot of Red Velvet songs, I think. But yeah, their vocals just blend really nicely with it. It feels respectful rather than hokey. Irene's ears are out in the music video. Top 5 ears in the music industries. Yeah. Irene's ears, though.
Nina, you good? You good? Do you need a minute?
Me and Zondy really like ears. We're a big fan of when K-pop idols have their ears out.
Yes. I think there was a member of what the Carrot group that you like quite a bit.
Yeah, and there's also a Cosmic Girl that Zondy likes that has great
Cosmic
ears.
Girls?
Oh yeah, Cosmic Girls.
Have you heard of them? I think they're on a show.
Is that Wuju Sunu?
Wuju Sunu.
And sorry, I'm gonna get sidetracked by ears.
No, we're doing great.
Yeah, this is a really good song. This is a beautiful song. Red Velvet crushing it as always. We love that kind of beautiful but unsettling feeling that we get. And also, you touched on it kind of being a combination of Red and Velvet. It's like they've interwoven their concepts, and the Red concepts for a while, kind of great songs, but you're like, man, Irene's 31, guys. You can't keep putting her in a tutu. But in this, it works. It feels more age appropriate for girls that are not teenagers, and I love to see that. It's still bright, but it has that. Yeah, you kind of feel nervous, like they're gonna be behind you, and I love that. That's what I come to Red Velvet for. I want to be a little bit spooked, but I also want to jam.
Spooked but jam. Oh my god,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those feelings that I get from the music video as well. Kind of the visual imagery, right? The main show went full conspiracy theory detective this month. This is the most enthusiastic and exaggerated they've ever been about lore. I don't remember a time where they just like all three of them dived in with just like all of their thoughts and threads and literally like putting things together. I am not a lore person. I appreciate stories that are in the music video that I can connect with, which it's they do a remarkable thing where there is lore. You can kind of see it building. I get the Kwangya, but if I'm looking at it just as an art piece, there's still a lot of interpretation to the story of what's happening here, which I feel like Red Velvet has done a number of times. I can remember Red Flavor having elements of things that are just happening in the music video that could be potentially theorized as something else, but at the same time, it's like you don't have to have it. What did you guys think about how the story played out in this music video and the potential connections to Kwangya and who people are? And is Seulgi the Black Mamba? I don't. Warren.
I don't think everything has to be lore necessarily. There can just be a story in a music video, and it doesn't have to be. Although it is SM, so probably. They love their Kwangya these days. Yeah, I didn't go that deep with it. I just kind of every scene in this music video is a work of art, literally. But I didn't really delve into theories.
Yeah, me neither. I've never been a lore guy. You shouldn't come to me for lore.
You haven't read the 30-page Billy doc?
I actually have not. Believe it or not, I still don't know who the Big Bunny is. But I think there's a way of appreciating the kind of story the music video is kind of trying to tell. Like with or without any future consequences outside of the music video, just in and of itself, the weird dudes who are dressed in birds. Thank you. Those are so fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy, amazing, right? Like Victorian area, like just strange visual depictions. My brain goes to like Black Swan and kind of the theatrical nature of it. I think that's what Psycho was playing off of. And then they kind of bring it here in this music video. I feel like there is a nice connection between the past 3 releases, including Queendom, right? Where there is a bit of the fantastical nature happening in that shop and what realm they eventually end up in. Similar here, right? So again, like just all Red Velvet things connecting. See, if it's connecting just Red Velvet things, I'm here for it because it's it's a callback as opposed to I have to connect every single dot into this larger story. It's like I can't. Zondy, you said a lot, but you know,
I can talk more. I can talk praise.
Well, I wanted to bring it to this. So, you know, we are getting now a consistent run of Red Velvet songs. Queendom was not that long ago. That was in the fall of 2021. Now we're in the spring. Okay, first question. Do you want a summer release or do you want a fall release for next Red Velvet's comeback? And the one that you select, how do you want that music to play out?
I my expectations for Red Velvet are somewhere in the Kwangya right now. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what I want. I don't know when it's coming. I just want it to be good. Because Feel My Rhythm it's kind of brought it back for me. I mean, Psycho was a long time ago. Right? Psycho was a long time ago. And that's one of my favorite Red Velvet songs. And I haven't been fully satiated. I haven't been fully back in my Red Velvet swing of things. Even despite Monster and Queendom coming out. But this has sucked me right back in. And, you know, it doesn't matter where we go as long as it's good. You know, we can go to the Kwangya. We can do it. I don't care.
Nina, my question for you is, well, I think timeline-wise, it makes sense for it to be a fall release. What do you want in the fall release from Red Velvet?
I've seen some theories. I don't know how much weight there is behind it that they're going to do 4 releases, spring, summer, fall, winter, but that would be
please.
Yeah, it would be
the
great.
Name of the Big Bang song.
Yeah, whoa. Full circle. Lore? Big Bang Red Velvet collaboration? No, thank you. That would be amazing, but I do think it's unlikely. That would be a high amount of output. A fall release, I think, would be great because we would probably get another elegant Velvet type song. That would be, but you know, it would be nice to get a cute little summer bop too. I'm with Zondy. Whatever they give me, I will be happy. They're music wise my favorite currently active girl group. I'm just happy. Red Velvet does anything, and I'm happy. So. You know,
so good, guys. Can we talk about this album?
The album's good.
Well, I'd like to answer this real quick because the correct answer was anything with Solgi eating a strawberry.
I mean, it'll happen. At this rate,
with the pink top and the blue pants in the music video. That's a good.
They all look incredible in the music.
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
They look.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look crazy.
Stunning. Nina?
I know Zondy's going to say "Beg for Me" off the album. Zondy loves.
No, I was actually going to talk about "In My Dreams."
Oh yeah, "In My Dreams" is beautiful.
"In My Dreams" is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful song.
A couple times I listened to it, I was like, "This is kind of whatever," but it's like, I don't know, it's super.
It's emotional. Yeah, it makes you feel.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Beg for Me is cool.
Yeah, Beg for Me. I've got a lot of good things to say about Beg for Me, but
I like Wendy's rap.
Wendy main rapper.
Wendy main rapper, please. But your song, Zondy. Shoot, I forgot the title.
In My Dreams.
In My Dreams.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a great end cap to this album because it's set up so theatrically with Feel My Rhythm being the beginning song. A lot of stage feelings of them kind of presenting a show, right? And it is the Revet Festival 2022. So again, like it's more of this carnival feel, kind of flipping it to a modern take. But we don't really know the direction yet of what that means. But for this album specifically, it's the curtain call. It's the end of the show. It's the spotlight is solely on them, and them kind of just serenading us into the rest of the evening, which I think it's just beautiful in every sense. Beg for Me, probably my favorite song. It's ladies who are older saying we're gonna celebrate our sexuality and just be all.
They're
about
saying
it.
Dance for me, work for me, beg for me, Crispy.
Irene
less.
is a woman.
Man, Irene's almost our age, huh? Just halfway there.
Yeah, Irene's like 72. So yeah, pretty close.
Oh wow, Irene is a peer. That's crazy. I had no idea. Go ahead.
On my first listen, I wasn't big on Rainbow Halo, but that's come around to be one of my
it's so
favorites. Yeah, Rainbow Halo Dance. Rainbow Halo Dance. Yeah,
it's
good album.
It's just like another. It's just another great Red Velvet.
Yeah, Red Velvet has done it again.
In
what
the
can
books.
you say? Yeah. Also, Wild Side, their Japanese song that came out this month, quite good as well.
Very good. Yeah.
Yes, great output from Red Velvet this month.
They are just working. Yeah, that song was a surprise.
Yeah.
I selfishly, after hearing it, I was like, oh, I really wish this was a Korean release that got like a full Korean promotion.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that they have to spread things out and they have to produce music for the Japanese market. But man, that song's really good.
Yeah. Maybe they'll give us a Korean version on the next album.
Yeah. Like I wish like I got that as like a separate like thing. It's like my first listen is like, oh, this is them promoting it on like Korean music shows and stuff. But it's Japanese release. It's great. If you guys like Japanese songs, check it out. Japanese release songs of K-pop idols, because it's a pretty special one, I'd say, as far as Red Velvet.
I mean, it's Red Velvet, so they don't slouch in their Japanese releases.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And apparently the album's good. I haven't listened to it, but apparently it's good.
All right. Well, that does it for our top 3 songs for March 2022. Let us know what you thought. We kind of went off the rails, but I think this is just how it's gonna be, guys.
When do we not go off the rails?
Because this is like my favorite time to spend with the two of you. We've got some SojuChart stuff. I think the only thing that really stood out to me this month is that Red Velvet got their crown. Got their
Deserved.
Good.
Spice finally.
Yep, as they should.
Psycho was 2019, so that was before
December 2019, baby, so long ago.
Yep,
So long ago.
before
A lifetime ago.
Literal
It's an embryo.
children were born during that time.
Zondi was born during that time.
I was born in 2019.
Oh, that's right. You did start babysitting him recently.
Yeah.
You know, if you do start drinking soju while you babysit him, I have no qualms with that. So, yeah, no, it's good to see. I think the charts this month have been a nice variety of music. I totally forgot Brave Girls had a song that come out this month.
You know what? I'm also a Brave Girls liker. They're in my flair, but it was forgettable for me as well, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
once, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Their team is making a lot of decisions, and I don't agree with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Love Brave Girls still,
Love them.
but yeah,
Love them.
no, that was a miss.
Yeah. Characterized really well. And that'll take us actually to our next topic of conversation. Queendom 2 happened in March. You know, the first 2 episodes aired. It showed the bringing together of all the groups, the introduction, if you will. A lot of filler in that first episode. We only got 2 performances, but we do have all performances out now on YouTube. We're just gonna do our quick thoughts, and you know, we're gonna try to run through these pretty quickly. But if we run long, you know, it's fine. We all love it. Let me throw it to Nina first. What do you think so far about Queendom? And what are your favorite moments?
Yeah, I was so excited for this lineup. I watched Kingdom and I enjoyed it. But there was a couple groups that I wasn't super familiar with. Like I don't know the members of the boys, I don't know the members of SF9, and I wasn't but with this lineup, Queendom 2, I know all of these girls and I like all of these girls. So that's super exciting. That's the main thing I was thinking watching the episode. I was like, I know all of you by name. This is great.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I love it. Great lineup. Just talking about Brave Girls, I feel like they're getting people are treating them poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are looking down on them a little bit. I've seen a lot of people say, "Why are they on this show?" And I'm offended. I thought they did really well. But people are still. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a prejudice or like people are just expecting them to do poorly. Um, I I just hope they really blow people out of the water. That's like what I'm praying for. I thought this performance was great. I've seen a lot of people say that they disagree. And that's boring of them. Respect Brave Girls is what I'm saying. Put some respect on their name.
They've been through a lot.
They've been through a lot, and they're very funny girls, very talented, and it makes me nervous. I want this to go well for them, and I'm scared if it doesn't, it might be it could be bad for them. So I'm a little bit nervous. I'm nervous about Brave Girls. I'm also nervous about Kepler. Their performance didn't really I'm still concerned after the performance. It was okay. They're great for rookies. But they compared to the other, like, you watch Hyolin's performance?
Yeah, so Hyolyn is the thing. I mean, I guess unless Crispy wants to chime in and kind of set us somewhere, but for me, I had the same thing where I was really worried about Hyolyn, and then I saw her perform and I was like, she's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine.
It's not another bomb situation at all. It's very different from Park Bomb.
Yeah.
Well,
let's talk to that first, right? So I think you guys set it up where the familiarity with all the groups, I think, is a really big starting point, a good starting point for the show in general, right? I think Queendom was a really nice experiment in introducing boy groups to the general audience. Because even though boy groups generally do better in sales, I still don't think like that collection of artists was the most accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah, they're not super well known to the general public in Korea.
Yeah,
like they're very successful as boy groups, but in general, boy groups are going to be more catered to their fandoms rather than a wider public. Yeah. That's just the way it goes.
And I think the brilliance of Queendom too is that they have very distinct generations of musicians on this show, right? I mean, Hyolyn, 2010, right? Mm-hmm. And then VVZ, essentially G-Friend, going back into their discography. Yo. Amazing. Uji Sonyo, who've been around for a minute, but have a lot of music as well, but then are still, as their story is still trying to find their way as like their distinct sound, right? Brave Girls, we saw the pop off. Unfortunate with how things are being perceived right now. I don't feel like they should be perceived this poorly. I actually thought that stage was amazing.
It was one of my favorites, and maybe I'm biased, but I thought it was great.
I love that stage. Yeah. Luna, again, trying to find their footing, but amazing international fandom, right? Then Kepler is the one that surprised me a bit in the sense that I thought they were going to have like an enormous following because of the show, because of a specific member as well. I will just leave it at that. But them not getting the votes was interesting the first time around. So yeah, just a lot of different elements to this show that I feel like are setting up for more tension, because I think the fandoms are just going to be a lot stronger, and generally the Korean public and people watching it will be more excited for this, right? And that kind of brings me to a question that I have for you guys. So Queendom 2 was shot on an empty soundstage, and they did amazing theatrics and a lot of stage crafting. Pretty cool, pretty amazing. But if you watch it and think about it, you can only experience that show through a screen, right? With the way that the stage is moved and interacted. Queendom, we're back in front of a live studio audience where you have to perform essentially stage. How do you phrase it? It's like stage front, like stage where it's like you're only facing like the front people, right? And your performance has to be crafted that way. Zondy, do you feel like this element now of a live stage is bringing something different to Queendom 2 that you sorely miss with live performances?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch any other of the. I don't know how to, the Dom
Series.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I didn't watch any of
Yeah.
the other shows, but uh, so the idea, I've watched some of the performances from Kingdom and Queendom, and the way they've kind of played with using, primarily camera tricks and setting things up almost as if it was kind of a performance video, uh, less of a stage performance and more of a performance video. I think that, having looked at some of the first round performances, they still find ways to kind of try and imitate that in some ways. There's a lot of panning camera shots, a lot of shots where, I don't know, the groups somehow teleport to the other side of the stage. I don't know how they do it. I haven't watched the full cams, so I can't say. But they do still manage to pull things off. I think having an audience there is very big. It's very nice for me as a viewer. It's very nice for the very lucky audience members who get to watch, as well as the group members themselves. So yeah, I think just having a way to, you know I always say, limitation, it having limitations kind of expedites your creativity, right? Well, when you set ways in which things have to go, it really forces you a lot of time to be creative. uh if you want, especially if you want to wow a crowd, which is the whole point of the show. So yeah.
Yeah. Kingdom performances were crafted for the camera. And yeah, for me, I prefer it. There's just always something different to watching a stage with a live audience. It has a different vibe, and it's always way more hype. So yeah, I love to see that, and I hope to see some. Yeah, the Kingdom performances, they were all like a spectacle. A lot of editing, a lot of flashing back and forth to different scenes, which is great. But it's yeah, there's something about just performing in front of an audience. With regard to like Kepler getting the votes and stuff, I think I actually I applied for the live audience and I got accepted, but it was while I was at work, so I wasn't able to watch. But when I applied, they asked me who I was cheering for, like which group was my bias, and like to put a message to my group. So I think the way they did it is they had like a certain number of people from each fandom. That would be my guess. So I put that I was like a Brave Girls fan. I put like a little cheering message for Brave Girls. So I would guess, it that way it's not like overwhelmingly Kepler fans, and I think fans of other groups probably weren't as likely to vote for Kepler. Yeah, I think they get you to vote for two groups so that you don't just, there's a bunch of Cosmic Girls fans. They all vote for Cosmic Girls, and yeah, so I feel like the other group fans are less likely to vote for Kepler, but Kepler is definitely going to win the YouTube views. Hands down. They crush it on YouTube. It's crazy. I thought Luna's still doing really well too.
Luna,
But
I mean, Luna are a notoriously bad fan.
yeah, Orbits are not good at streaming. They're good at tweeting.
They're very
But not
good.
streaming. But yeah, if you look at the fan cams, a certain member of Kepler especially, lots of views.
Yeah, Shouting, right? Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
China's got like a couple billion people, that the largest population in the world. So China. Shout out to China.
Yeah.
Shout out to Surichi and Wenja and Fuyaning.
Yeah, my favorite member of Kepler, Surichi.
All of her
Sorry.
friends. We miss them so much. Zondi, what was your favorite stage so far?
Oh, it was either, there were three that I really liked. There were three that didn't stand out as much. So it's hard for me to pick. It's either Hyorin or VVG or Uyusunyo. I would say. If I put my bias aside, it would probably be Hyorin. I'm not a big Sistar fan, but when they were around, I was always looking forward to their next thing. They always say Sistar coming back. That's how you know it's the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow Hyorin brought the summer to the whenever last week was, the end of March, right? On that stage. Yeah, no, she did a really good job at just kind of capturing what her career kind of entailed as a member of Sistar, and then obviously moving on to her own solo work. I also want to say that VVG had a really, really good performance. But yeah, no, it definitely was Hyorin, I think, for me.
Nice.
I think,
Nina, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I think hers was the most enjoyable for sure. Like I had the best time watching her. VVZ was great if you have a connection to GFriend. I think if you like, I like GFriend. If you didn't, it might not have had the same impact. Because
I mean, if you
like
were around in 2016, you've listened,
Yeah.
you've heard Rough a billion times,
Yeah.
and that'll like that like snapped you back, right?
Yeah, I cried the first time I watched it.
I'm not afraid to admit it.
But a lot of that is, that emotional connection and knowing the story of how they were sort of cut short unfairly. Very emotional. Luna was a bit of a letdown for me. There was nothing
Can I
that really.
talk about Luna?
Yeah,
I
talk
don't
about
know
Luna.
why they picked Paint the Town. Why did they pick Paint the They could there were two songs that they definitely shouldn't have picked. Why not in Paint the Town? We're just like, I don't know why they would.
Those are my least favorite Luna title tracks.
It's not even that they're my least favorite. I mean, I like Why Not, but it's just that in terms of making an impact on stage or like trying to make yourself stand out, I don't know why they pick that song in particular. I'm not a fan of it, obviously, but it just, I don't know. It felt like Butterfly was such an obvious choice, and if not Butterfly, going for like So What or Hi Hi was also just as I don't know. It frustrated me a little bit.
And the
when I heard PTT,
I wasn't a huge fan of the costumes. Kind of that like, I got what they were going for. They looked a little bit cheap to me. I don't know. Yeah, and Luna's one of my favorite groups in this show, but yeah, that and I'm not a huge Paint the Town liker either. So yeah, that didn't really leave much of an impact on me. I think Hyolyn deserved winning for sure. For sure. Brave Girls did not deserve last.
No, they didn't. Kepler did.
Justice for Brave Girls.
Didn't mean to say that out loud.
I want to echo everything you said about Luna. I like them as a group. They have a lot of great potential. I feel like this show should be a great jumping off point for them as far as showing their performance ability. Very questionable why PTT was the choice, as well as the concept. And if I'm kind of like bringing the real world into it, maybe I'm looking at it a little bit too much, and the fact that they shot it separately, it feels like they're still recovering. Right, as far as like their energy level and their abilities on stage. Shout out to them for powering through and getting on stage to do it. But the fact that they had just far less time to practice and put together that stage because of the fact that they had to be separated and take a health break because of COVID. Thank you, COVID. It just felt like that stage was not at their optimal ability. And it didn't help that they chose that song, or perhaps they chose that song because they figured like, this is our throwaway round. Let's just get this over with, and then now we'll pop off with whatever they have to do next. They have to do a Sistar song or a Hyorin song next. So.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. The spoilers are out on what song they're doing.
It's so exciting.
The
preview they showed at the end of.
Oh, did they? Okay, yeah.
They showed. No, they didn't. They didn't show what song it was.
They're in suits.
On the stage.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So hopefully that's the coming back, let's show what Luna can do situation moment on this show, because I think there's the deck was stacked against them. Let's just put it that way because of health concerns.
Yeah, it was very unlucky. Very unlucky.
Yeah.
And then again, Hyorin, surprised how amazing she was. I think it really does goes to show her longevity in K-pop, her performance ability, and the fact that she's been on like a million competition shows in the past, and she knows how to do this. She knows how to play the game. She knows what she needs to do. Just really quickly touching on Kepler, the one thing that I think made that song and performance not as impactful is the fact that they changed the song a little too much for me. Yes, like the O part it's a divisive moment in the song, but
I like it personally.
right, but it's very memorable, right? It's a very clear, like this is the chorus.
It's the part that sticks in your head for sure.
This is the killing moment where it's like, okay, we're gonna remember the song because of it. They flipped that and made it this very like performance heavy just beat, and then essentially makes the song the same throughout. Like there is no breaking point in the song where it's like you have a refresher, you stop and you take notice. It's like, oh, it's one beat, one tempo, one feel the entire way through. And I was just like, it was very noticeable for me that I just was not able to focus on any one thing with Kepler. They showed the struggle. They showed them really working hard for it, which admirable, amazing. But I think that was kind of the sticking point for me. And then quickly on Muji Sonyo, the previews made it seem like it was like the end of the world. Holy crap! It was unfortunate, but the performance was just fine, if you ask me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
I can see why, like, I understand Enzo being emotional for sure. Like, you've just recovered. You basically only had 1 day to practice. Like, I completely understood why. I probably would have cried too.
I thought something catastrophic happened on stage.
Like, you thought someone got injured. Yeah.
I totally get where they're coming from, though.
Yeah, like they felt like they couldn't do their best.
Yeah, when you've like prepared for a while for a performance, and something like that goes wrong, you're just like, I don't know. It feels like, everything you thought about everything except the one thing that went wrong, right?
And it was it was not their fault at all. Like totally out of their hands. Yeah. So.
Just for reference, there's an hourglass prop that they flip at the very near the beginning of the performance, and it breaks. So the sand is all over the stage, and they said it later that as they were dancing, they were slipping on the sand because it was spreading. So understandable that it's a additional point of anxiety as they're performing, but the end product, to me, I loved it. I would probably say this is a top 1 or 2 favorite song performance of the first round. So yeah.
It's if it's one of those things where if it wasn't pointed out to you, you might not even notice, except for the fact that it's like, oh, the hourglass is suddenly not there.
Yeah, same, 100%.
Yeah.
Also, one real quick thing. I don't know why. Maybe this is just a me thing and the way things have been in the past. I don't know why Kepler have not been able to, or at least have not mentioned using some of the Girls Planet songs. They have Mask, and then they have Wadada.
Yeah, and that's basically it.
And that's it, right? So I don't know why they wouldn't just.
Yeah, they could have done OOO.
Exactly, and it's even like 101 adopted Never. IS1 adopted Rumor. I same place. So I don't know why they haven't taken like You Plus Migos, which one or another song. And just
that's a good point.
I'm a snake. Sorry.
Yeah, like do Snake.
Imagine. Yeah. Surichi. I mean, sorry.
She's not in the group, man.
Because next round is the song switch, and Brave Girls are doing Kepler, and they basically had one song they could do.
They basically are restricted. Are they going to do another Wadada show?
Yeah, they could do Wadada again, or they could do Mask.
Is it going to be Mask? Right?
So they, like, whoever gets, like, when they're talking about Luna, it's like, you could do this. If Cosmic Girls, like, you have so much to choose from.
So many songs.
Yeah, like, even when they were picking their song for the intro, they were like, we have a lot of good songs. And I was like, so true.
So true.
So true. Yeah.
So true.
But yeah, so that's kind of, and that's just Brave Girls getting the short end of the stick again.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. I will say, just for the Luna, Wuju Sonyo and VVZ swap, that could probably be an epic swap of epic proportion. I'm just my brain is about to explode. I have no idea.
Depending on what songs they're doing, it potentially might just ruin my life, so to speak.
It'll break me in so many ways. I mean, I'm a big simp for MG. and a big simp
Mm,
for Exy and
I'm also a
someone.
known OMG simp.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Nice to meet
She's
you. Nice to meet you.
yeah, agree. Yeah. She's really, man, I feel like especially since VBZ debut, she's the
Yeah, she's
confidence,
stood
like
out
she's
a lot
next
more.
level. She's evolved. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of her.
she's great. Big shout out to Cindy. She's playing into the character amazingly.
I
Please,
love her.
more,
Oh my God.
please.
Episode 2, when you know what I'm talking about. Sinbi and Insa when
Yeah.
Met the fight. Please, actually fight, but they're
She was gonna take her out to the parking lot.
Entire life.
yeah. I wish they didn't show that they're historically friends from like teenage years. Because then it's like, oh, what's happening? Why are they so
then
close?
Yeah.
you'd actually think she's
If they showed it after, it would have been a lot
Yeah.
funnier.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if
Yeah.
you know, you know.
Yeah, now it's
But
like,
yeah.
oh, they're best friends since forever.
she's Shimbi's a comedy queen. I just love her.
Yeah,
She's
amazing.
so
Yeah.
Exy played into it a little bit on the first episode, but not as much until Cindy came through and just like, hey, I'm here. I'm going to lean into my chair like this. And just like, what is happening? I love it. More. Yeah. So yeah, that is our Queendom 2 first 2 episode. A little bit of a recap, a little bit of a off the rail situation. We're going to do a quick closing thoughts. I don't know how quick. We'll see. For me, I'm just going to go real quick and I'll throw it to the two of you. I started a new job this past week in April. It is a full-time job. So now I cannot be on Discord 24/7. It is very difficult to not want to check my phone every 10 minutes. But it's and adjusting my schedule, my mental schedule has been a challenge. But I think it'll be nice to kind of rearrange things for the show and for guests and interviews on a more actual adult schedule. So I'm excited, and I've still got a lot of things coming up for the Soju Talk Nation. I will tease this. There is we're doing something with the main show. Let's just put it that way. We're doing something big.
Whoa.
That's all I'll say.
Oh, spoilers.
Nina, how are you? How's your month?
Yeah. Well, congrats on the job.
Thank you.
That's very exciting. I am also starting a new job on the 19th, which I'm super excited about. I've been working a job that I hate for the last year and a half. Just awful job. And it's a job in a field that I've been really interested in. I'm going to be doing content writing and SEO for a web design company. Yeah, so I'm incredibly excited. One of my good friends works for the company, and it's just I can walk to work. It's everything about it is just it's like a $10,000 a year more than I was making. You know, it's just I'm so excited. It's like my whole life is turning around.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna go to Canada to celebrate with you.
Yeah, you come
so
over.
Happy. I'm gonna know what you look like, and I will be confirmed that you are.
No, you can never
attractive.
know. No.
You will just walk around with something covering your face the entire time.
So yeah, it's gone from because when you work in a job that you hate, it really just drains the life out of you. So I am feeling great about April and very, very excited about a new job. So yeah, that's what's been going on in my life. And also, as I was telling you guys before the show, my roommate has COVID, so I'm praying that I don't miss this first week of work. Yeah, so far so good. Negative tests here. But yeah, numbers have been bad around here. So stay safe.
Zondy, how are you, sir?
Much like the two of you, I've also started a new job.
Look at us.
I'm just working as a software engineer at some company here in Manchester over Easter.
Oh, just a software engineer because you're a college student that
Casual.
also knows like everything apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smartest guy I know.
Thanks, guys. But other than that, I mean, I've been trying to balance that all with uni. I have a lot of work to catch up with over Easter, and I somehow have to fit that in with my 9 to 5. So I'll figure it out, I think. But I've been doing not much else really. I kind of come home and I'm really tired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you people do this for the rest of your lives.
Well,
It's crazy.
when you do it for 60 years, you get used to it.
Yeah, with how long our life has been.
Yeah.
It's the experience.
Yeah. And you can also just look at Irene and see, oh, she's still doing things at 70. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's inspirational. But you can do it, Zondy. If anyone can do it, you can do it. I believe in you.
100%. Yeah. You have
Yeah,
all
I
the
believe.
faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing life catch up from all of us. All of us starting new jobs. Spring is definitely a time for new beginnings. So could not have I did not even planned, guys. This is unscripted. This is just three friends talking about life. So amazing. Yeah, we've got a lot of things to look out for. Yeah, SojuTalk, the main show, collab project. That is all I'll say. All right, let's sign out. Nina, Zondy, I love having you guys on. It is so fulfilling in my life. It gives me a point of stability, and I really can't thank you guys enough for hanging out and wanting to do this month in, month out over the past couple of months. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you, Crispy, for having us.
Always have a great time with you guys, and stream Darling by 17 on Friday, April 15th.
Nice. All right. Thank you everyone for listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 45. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred podcast platform, and continue the conversation on the SojuTalk Kpop Podcast Discord. This has been the SojuTalk Nation for Nina and Zondy. This is Crispy. Bye.
Bye.